Hey, Algebra 1 students, Mr. Ford here with another homework tutorial. This is 4.2.2, problems 449 through 454, and away we go. Camilla is trying to find the equation of a line that passes through the points -1 and 16, and 5 and 88. Does the equation 12x plus 28 work? Well, here's all we're going to do. We're going to plug the x's and the y's into the equation and see if it holds up. So, in other words, let's say for the first point, does 16 equal 12 times -1 plus 28? That's the question. Technically, we should put a question mark above this because we're testing to see if it's correct, not that saying that it is correct. For the other equation, let's circle it in blue, the y is 88 and the x is 5. And again, does this hold up? Are these equations true? Over here, 16 is equal to -12 plus 28. That is true. 16 equals 16. That works. Over here, is 88 the same thing as 12 times 5, which is 60, plus 28? Use a calculator if you're stuck on those calculations. And it is. So that totally works. That's it. Don't need to do any extra work. Don't need to do mx plus b because they gave us mx plus b. We just had to say if it was correct or not. So there you go. 450, here's the new hotness from today. Use the graph it right. It contains the lines for x plus 2 and 2x minus 1. Using the graph, what's the solution to the system? In other words, what is the coordinates right there? So, those coordinates appear to me to be the coordinates of the point 3, 5. And so, I'm guessing, based on the graph, that the solution is 3, 5. In other words, x equals 3 and y equals 5. For question B, though, we're going to solve this algebraically and confirm that. Now, I noticed that both equations are already in y equals form. They both already equal y. So let's use the equal values method, which says that x plus 2 must equal 2x minus 1. The thinking here is that y equals itself. One way to talk about y is x plus 2. The other way is 2x minus 1. These things both equal y, so they must equal each other. If you subtract x from both sides, we get 2 equals x minus 1. If you add the 1 to both sides, you get 3 equals x, and bada bing, bada boom, x equals 3. And of course, you could use either one of the two equations. Let's use this one because it's much easier. Y is equal to x plus 2. And we just figured out that x is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So, there you go, 3 and 5. 451, hot dogs and corn dogs were sold at last night's football game. Use the information below to write mathematical sentences to help you determine how many corn dogs were sold. Question A says the number of hot dogs sold was 3 fewer than the number of corn dogs sold. Okay, well, right away I see the word was. That's my equal sign. The number of hot dogs is going to be H. 3 fewer than twice the number of corn dogs, that's 2C minus 3. If you read the sentence and you read that math equation, they make sense. They say the same thing. Hot dogs is twice the number of corn dogs minus 3. So here we go. Oh, we did all the stuff. Yeah, I'm going to write down here just because that makes sense right there. And we also know that a hot dog cost $3 and a corn dog cost $1.50 and $201 was collected. So we're going to need to multiply these things. The number of hot dogs is $3. So $3 times the number of hot dogs plus $1.50 times the number of corn dogs is equal to $201. Again, get used to seeing these sentences because they are going to be everywhere in these problems. You will see these same kind of ideas over and over and over again. Just have the confidence in yourself to write these equations. They are not difficult to write if you read and think. How many corn dogs were sold? Well, now we actually need to solve the equation, or solve the system. And for that, we're going to use substitution because I noticed that the top equation is H equals 2C minus 3. So we are going to replace this H in the bottom equation with 2C minus 3. It will look like this. 3 times 2C minus 3 plus 1.50C is equal to 201. Like that. These are the exact same sentence. We have said the exact same thing. The only difference is that we replaced H with 2C minus 3 because they are the same idea. And now we only have one variable. Unfortunately, they only asked us for how many corn dogs are sold, so once we're done solving this, we're done with the problem. 6C minus 9 plus 1.5C is equal to 201. Let's combine our like terms together. That's 6 plus 1.5, or 750. C minus 9 equals 201. Now we will add the 9 to both sides. And we will get, ran out of room. We'll get 7.50c equals 210. And finally, we will divide by 750. I don't know what this is, so I'm going to ask a calculator. Hey, calculator Cam, wake up. Get out of the table there for a minute here. What is, hey, calculator Cam, what's 210 divided by 7.5? Oh, it's 28. And it's got to be a whole number because there's no such thing in this problem as parts of hot dogs or corn dogs. You sell 228 of them. And there you go. Cool. End of problem. We got some diamond problems on the next page, 452. Your key is right here. Don't forget, you multiply the two numbers together to get the top. And you add them to get the bottom. It doesn't really matter which one's on top and bottom, honestly. Let's go through it here, step by step. A lot of room to work with in these problems, too. Here we don't know what both the numbers are, but we do know what two of them are. They multiply to be the top number, I think. Let me make sure I got that right. Okay, so first question we got to answer is 3 times 4 times what thing is equal to 1? The answer here is that you take the fraction and you flip it upside down. So 4/3 is what we're looking for in that box, because those two fractions multiplied together, you'll get 12 on top, 12 on bottom. 12 divided by 12 is 1. Although we do have to add them together on down below, and that's not going to be quick or fun. Let's start with 3/4 plus 4/3. We are going to need to multiply these by something to change them and get the same denominator. So I'm going to multiply the one on the left by 3/3. That'll give us 12 on the bottom. And the one on the right gets multiplied by 4/4. That gives us also 12 on the bottom. We're going to have 9/12 plus 16/12. And 9 plus 16 is 25/12. I like this answer. You could divide it and say 2 and 1/12 if you want to, but who cares? Here is a classic diamond problem. This is really the reason why we do these. It's a really valuable skill later on in Algebra 2 to be able to ask yourself, okay, what two numbers multiply together to make 6 and add together to make 5? It's like a little puzzle every time. The good news is that you only have a couple of choices here, 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. Clearly it's 2 and 3 because 2 plus 3 is 5. Over here, once again, we're kind of solving the same kind of problem we did in the first question. -1 times what is going to give us 5? That's got to be -5 right there. And then if you add them together, -6. Question D, now again, we're looking at adding problem. 6 plus what number is equal to 4? Let me make that an A or something. 6 plus what is -4? This has got to be -2. And then 6 times -2 is -12. Stay sharp on these skills. They are valuable later. Let's move down to the next question. It's a short one. It's a really simple one, too. If A is equal to B and C is equal to D, then is A plus C equal to B plus D? That's the question. Well, it might help to give some numbers to this. Let's say A is 5. And that means that 5 is equal to itself. So A is 5 and B is 5. And let's just say that C is 7. It doesn't matter. C is 7, D is also 7. So is it true then that A plus C, which would be 5 plus 7, is equal to B plus D, which is also 5 plus 7? And the answer is yes. Yes, this is 100% correct. Since A and B are the same, A and B are the same thing, you can swap them out in both sides of the equation. Same thing is true about C and D. So not only is A plus C equal to B plus D, but A plus C is also equal to A plus D, and lots of other combinations too. And then down below we have some just simple solving equations for x if possible. So let's just go, remember all the things we know how to do at this point. Distribute this negative and you get -2 plus 3x plus x equals 9 minus x. Take your time, go slow. Next, let's add the x to both sides. Write all of, before we do that, we got to combine like terms. I withdraw. 3x plus x is 4x. -2 plus 4x equals 9 minus x. Take your time, go slow, think carefully before taking the next step. Next, I want to add x to both sides. I want to keep my x term positive whenever possible. -2 plus 5x is equal to 9. Next, we will add 2 to both sides and get 5x equals 11. And that means our answer will not be a whole number, and that's okay. It happens, I guess. x is equal to 11 over 5, or if you want to, 2.2, or if you want to, 2 and 1/5. These are all three answers for the same thing. Look at how much work went into that problem. Again, if all I see on this right here, it means I know you're not listening to this video. You're just watching for me to write the answer down so you can write the answer down. You didn't learn anything. So make sure you have the work shown. That's the key idea. Over here we have question B, which we could do a number of different ways. Probably the most straightforward way is a process called cross multiplication. And cross multiplication works like this. I'm going to start by multiplying both sides by 4. And what that will do is it'll cancel out the fraction on the right. 4 over 4 is gone. And we'll have 24 on top from 6 times 4. And x plus 2 will stay down below. Now it equals 3. Now the next challenge is to get x plus 2 out of the bottom of the fraction. And to do that, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to multiply by x plus 2. I don't know what x plus 2 is, but I do know that it will divide by itself to make 1. So it cancels out. So what we got now is 24 equals 3x plus 6 after we do the distribution. Finally, we can subtract 6 from both sides and get 18 equals 3x, and we can then divide by 3 and get 6 equals x, and that's the end of that problem. Pretty straightforward. You could check it, by the way, too, by plugging in 6 for x and getting 6 over 8 up here, which is equal to 3/4. Okay, next question. This is a really straightforward one. We're just going to distribute our -2. Be careful. It is -2, so be careful there. That's 5 minus 2x minus 12 equals 14. I would suspect that a lot of mistakes could potentially happen there if you had a plus 12. From here, we're going to combine our like terms of 5 and -12 together. We'll have -2x minus 7 equals 14. We will add the 7 to both sides. We will get those canceling out. We'll get -2x equals 21. And finally, we will divide by -2. Those cancel out, and we'll have x equals -10.5, or -10 and 1/2, or -21 over 2. It doesn't really matter to me which one you want to have. All three of those are the same answer. And then question D. We had a lot of fractions involved in this problem. Now, this one's not too tough to do because I notice right away, and I want you to see it too, that's a -1/2 x on this side, that's a +1/2 x on that side. They don't cancel out, but the first thing I would do is to add 1/2 x to both sides. And what that will do is these will combine together. 1/2 plus 1/2 becomes 1. This is just going to be 1x. -4 plus 1 equals -3. Obviously, we can combine together those numbers right there. So it's x minus 3 equals -3. At this stage, you might be tempted to say no solution, but you'd be wrong. Because if you add 3 to both sides, you just get x equals 0. And that's correct. X can be 0. That's it. We have a checkpoint quiz coming up on how to solve problems like this, dealing with fractions with a different strategy, but that's for another day. So you guys are great. Thanks for making it to the end here. Make sure you show all the work on these. Enjoy these videos, but don't depend on them so much. You can do this on your own without my help.